welcome back to the math wall. This week we're going to do things a little bit different. At the end of the video I'm going to start including adding two-digit numbers. So make sure that you have already watched the adding two-digit number with multiple of 10 and also the teaching time to the half hour so that you are ready for this video. So let's begin. Our number today is 165. So right now I want you to pause the video and fill in the hundreds, tens, and ones. And if it's odd or even, do that now. Go. All right. So now that you're back, and I hope it's completed, let's go through it. I'll go through them quickly. We have 100. We have 6 tens. And we have 5 ones. And then remember, to determine if it's odd or even, we're going to go through and pair those ones up. And we have one that doesn't have a pair, so that means the number is odd. So we're going to use that 165, and we're going to go to our hundreds, tens, and ones chart. Using the number 165, you're going to fill that in now. Go. All right. So how many hundreds were in 165? We had 100. How many tens were in 165? We had 6 tens. And how many ones did we have in 165? 5 ones. Now using our 165, we broke it into our hundreds, tens, and ones. You're now going to move on into expanded form. So remember 165, and you're going to move into expanded form. So now pause the video and fill in the equation for the expanded form for 165. Go. All right. So let's look at here. We have 100, so we're going to write 100. We have 6 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, plus 60, and then we have the 5 ones. So 100 plus 60 plus 5 equals 165. 165. All right. Moving on to our plus 10, minus 10, minus 1, plus 1. So right now I want you to fill those in, pause the video, and then come back when you are ready. All right, so we're looking at 165. I always start with the tens first, so I'm going to minus my 10 first. Remember, we're only focusing on the tens. The hundreds and the ones are going to stay the same. So I'm going to put those up, and I'm making sure that I line them up so I can see that this is one that we're working on. The 6 is the 10 spot. So if I had 6 tens, I take 1 away, I will have 5 tens. So 165 minus 10 is 155. Now we're going to that plus 10, so remember we're focusing on the 10 spot. So we're going to keep the 100 spot and the 1 spot the same. 100 and keeping it lined up. So we have 6 tens. We're going to add 1 more 10. So 6 tens plus 1 more 10 equals 7 tens. So 165 plus 10 equals 175. Now let's move on to the ones. So when we're saying the ones, we're going to be focusing on the 1 spot. So we have 165. So we're going to keep the hundreds the same. We're going to keep the tens the same because we're only changing the ones. So we had 5 ones. We're going to take 1 away, and now we have 4 ones. So 165 minus 1 equals 164. Now moving on to plus 1. Once again, we're keeping the hundreds the same, the tens same, and we're only changing the ones because that's what we're focusing on, only plus 1. We had 5 ones. We're going to add 1 more, so 5. Plus 1 more equals 6. So 165 plus 1 equals 166. Now moving on to missing number. So this week we're going to be focusing on 8s. So finding number partners for 8. So now I want you to pause the video and complete those. Go. All right. So let's go through this quickly. 4 plus blank equals 8. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Blank plus 3 equals 8. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And 2 plus blank equals 8. 2 plus 6 equals 8. Okay, moving on to balance both sides. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what 5 plus 4 equals, write that, and then write the facts. Write another fact that will equal the same amount. Do that now. Pause the video. Do that now. Go. All right. So we should have 5 plus 4 equals 9. I'm going to do the reversal of 4 plus 5, and that equals 9. You could have done another equation. You did not have to do the reversal. I just do that so that you can see it doesn't matter which number goes first when you are adding. And moving on to fact families. So we're once again part whole. The whole is our larger number. I want you to be able to write both of the adding equations and both of the subtraction equation. And remembering the whole number always goes first in our subtraction. So pause the video and do those 4 equations now. Go. Okay, so you should have your 4 equations, and I'm going to just go through these quickly. 10 plus 1 equals 11. I'm going to reverse, and the 1's going to go first. 1 plus 10 equals 11. And then I'm going to do my subtraction. So remember, starting with that whole number, which is the larger number, is the 11. 11 minus 10 equals 1. And 11 minus 1 equals 10. Now we're moving on to whole part. So we want to figure out what the whole number is. We have the 2 parts, so we kind of, with these two, when we have the 2 parts, you have to put them together to find the whole. So you can use the adding equation to help you do this and then solve the rest. So pause the video and find the whole number and then do an adding and a subtraction equation. Go. Alright, so I'm going to take these 2 over here. 10 plus 2 equals 12. So 12 is our whole number. And then we're going to take our whole number and I'm going to subtract one of the parts. So I'm going to subtract the 2 from the 12. 12 minus 2 equals 10. And then we're moving on to the greater, less than, and equal to. So pause the video and solve these now. Go. All right. So when we always come to a number, we're always touching those tens first when they're a 2-digit number. So 56 has 5 tens, 65 has 6 tens, so there are more tens in 65. So we read it 56 is less than 65. Going on to the next one, we see 32. 32. Well, those are the same. So that means 32 is equal to 32. Then touching the tens, 72 and 27. So there are 7 tens in 72, 2 tens in 27. 7 tens is greater than 27. So we say 72 is greater than 27. And now moving on to put them in order. So pause the video and complete this. Put them in order from smallest to largest. Go. All right. So this should be completed. We'll just go through this quickly. I notice that there's no 10s in 9, 1 10 in 17, no 10s in 6, and 2 10s in 28. So I'm going to go to the numbers with no 10s, and 6 and 9, and I know 6 is smaller than 9, so 6 is going to go first. X that off, then our 9 will go next, and then I go and look and see 17 has 1 10, 28 has 2 10, so 17 is smaller, and then our 28. Now we're going to move into some fractions. Now, I'm going to walk you through this one today because I did put a 3 this time on the bottom, which we have not done yet. We have done 2, breaking into halves, and we've done 4s, breaking it into quarters. So today when we do the 3, we're going to be breaking into thirds. So first let's start with our rectangle. I'm going to break that into 4 equal pieces. Remember, the bottom tells us how many pieces to break it into and how many to color is on the top. So there I colored in 2/4. Now, I'm going to break my circle into 3 equal pieces or thirds, the best I can. And then I'm going to color in 1/3 of my circle. So this is just having us break it into 3 pieces and trying to make it as equal as possible. Now we're moving into the time. So, to understand the time, make sure you have watched the video that I posted before this about showing how I did the time and which zone. So I did color code it, and I'm going to just draw the line in for the hour. So whenever we see that minute down here, that long minute hand is pointing at that 30. Pointing at the 6 gets 30. Now we're going to put in our hour hand, which is going to be shorter. So what time would this read? I'm in between the 1 and the 2, so it's either going to be 1 or 2. But it's in, this is called the 1 zone. It goes all the way from the 1 and ends right at the 2. So we're in that middle, so we're actually in the 1 zone. So we're going to put the time down as 1:30. 1:30. We're going to practice this more throughout the week, so don't worry. And if you need to review the video on the time one that I did, it's a quick short one. Please feel free to do that. And then this week, what we're kind of going to be working on more towards is double digit adding with a multiple of 10. So I wrote 4 problems for you to work on. So you can do these, pause the video, and do them by yourself. Now, go. Now I'm just going to give you the answers, but I sure hope that you would use one of the ways that I showed you. I showed you on the video. You can break it down in 10s and 1s, or you can rechange them and make them go up and down. So here we have 82, we have 57, 96, and 39, just to check yourself. All right. Thank you for coming to the Math Wall. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.